The membership action plan was developed to give you as club leaders easy-to-use tools to help grow your club's membership. The top 10 tips were taken from the webinars from this past year. The tips fell into the categories of club experience, finding great new members, asking and informing members, engaging members, and building a plan. Let's dive in. Are your guests bored in your club meetings? Eric Johnson shares what his club experience is like in our first tip.
Your regular weekly meetings should be for your guests. It's the chance to show off your club. It's the chance for that guest to come in and say like, wow, I can be really involved in something here. The regular meetings are not for your members. Your members already know what your club does. Your members know the opportunities there are to engage in the community. Your members know how fun it is. But the guests, what's the guest going to walk away with? The guest really needs to see and hear everything that your club does and can do in the community so that they leave saying, oh yeah, I want to be involved in that. If your whole meeting is spent on something that should be done in a committee meeting outside of the meeting, what's the guest thinking? The guest is going to be bored to death in that meeting. You don't want to bore your guest. You want to wow your guest.
In tip number 2, hear how Amy Benton's club used surveys to improve club experience.
When my leadership team met for the first time back last spring, we decided that we wanted a fun family atmosphere where everyone truly cared about each other. First, we needed to find out exactly what our members were looking for in their Rotary experience. So what we did was to send out a survey, and then we met with some of the members that we had lost over the last few years and polled them to find out maybe the things that we were doing right, or maybe some things that we weren't doing right. One of the biggest needs we found in our club was communication. People really wanted to know that they were important in our club. They were a part of that Rotary family. And so we set up lots of ways that we could communicate with our members and lots of opportunities that would begin with day one of membership.
Philip Brown's club identified who was missing from their club, then went to work finding great new members. Here's tip number 3.
Our growth over the past few years has come from a targeted approach to prospecting. Our leadership named an unrepresented or underrepresented population in our club: fire, police, EMS, and teachers, all public servants. We developed a list of people we know who hold the same values as Rotary. We used a Google Sheet, but you can also use DACDB or other ways to organize your leads. Leadership held one-on-one meetings with the heads of the various groups and recruited directly from those areas. What we found was our biggest population came from the educators. Once your leads are generated and you've organized them, etc., you call them and invite them personally. You explain the good work. Finding the right fit is critical. Being overly selling or persuasive is not a good thing. Truth and fairness runs deep within our organization. I think it's important to be honest and real. Undersell and overdeliver is always a great policy. And when you overdeliver with all the good things, it's contagious.
In tip number 4, JJ Lullen's club adopted an impact club model to connect to community neighbors and found great new members.
We have a neighborhood very close to where our Rotary Club meets. And as we started talking about impact, we started asking ourselves, wondering out loud why we don't have any members from that neighborhood. And we had thought about it. We wondered, are our dues too high? Is the time commitment too much? And then impact allowed us to reduce those 2 hurdles. And as we did that, we already right now have 2 members from that neighborhood. Let's not limit our village just to a zip code or some county boundary. For example, where the hospitals where we serve, we want to consider it our hospital. Wherever school we support, we want to consider that our school. Whatever neighborhood we walk into, we want to consider that our neighborhood. This is what we want to create, this group of people who openly live and view any community as deserving the good things that happen all around them, as if this was happening right outside our front door.
David Peltzer wanted to finish the year strong. Check out the competition they created to find great new members in our 5th tip.
Our year-end membership competition had 3 goals. First and foremost was to increase our membership. Second, bring in younger members. Our board of directors had recently added a junior membership category with reduced dues to encourage younger members to join. Third, we wanted to better reflect our community by adding more female members. During the 3 months competition, we brought in 9 new members, an increase of 27%. We also built more club camaraderie and a better connection with club members. Team UNC did, in fact, serve breakfast to Team UVA. Most importantly, it helped build momentum for our growth over the coming years, as well as helped our club better reflect our community in age and sex demographics.
Every club will lose members. Zone 33 Rotary Coordinator Terry Weaver shares how to build a plan based on the facts in our 6th tip.
Well, attrition is pretty predictable based on the average membership loss of a given club over, say, the past 3 years. And successful clubs realize they need at least enough new members to replace those that are likely to terminate, which will be about the same number as usual, plus some for moderate growth, whatever that growth goal is. You know, in our businesses, we realize that we have to get new orders each month, starting at the first of the year, in order to meet our revenue goals, right? Well, wouldn't the same apply to new members in a Rotary Club? In the Membership Success Center, we've built a progress dashboard that works on that basis, looking at the club's net membership growth goal, then adding the number of additional members needed to replace those likely to terminate based on our recent attrition history.
Surveying your club helps understand your members' needs, and their needs might be simpler than you think. Hear what Rich Ungaro learned just by asking in Tip 7.
Also, they wanted to know, how do I bring a guest? How do I do that? So we actually had a session where we taught them how to bring a guest. And a lot of times we found out that they were hesitant to bring a guest because they were afraid the club wouldn't like their guest, and they were afraid that their guest wouldn't like the club. Wow. So that's where we came up with a celebratory thing of making them stand up, sing a song to them, shake their hand. So at the end, the guests at the end always told the person that invited them, I love this club.
New members can struggle getting to know other members during a regular club meeting. Tracy Hajir had that experience as a new member and decided to do something about it. Check out how she engaged new members in Tip 8.
I was also concerned about how I could make new members more comfortable in the beginning of their experience. That was one of the memories I had when I was a new member, that I just never felt quite connected. I never felt like I could create a conversation. Our meeting time were so short that it just was never conducive to that. So I thought, how would I connect them to more seasoned members? So I created a bingo card game. Each member's name was listed on the card, and each new member was given a sheet. On each table were sheets of star stickers. The new members were expected to introduce themselves to someone they didn't know and say a bit about themselves, and the seasoned member would in turn talk a little bit about themselves, and then they'd place a star on their name on the card. When the new member had the card 80% filled, they received a goodie bag, which was just basically tchotchke I'd gathered from business members in our club. It ended up being a huge success. Not everyone had their card filled in, but it definitely broke the ice and gave them a reason to speak to each other initially.
Membership growth is a team sport. In tip number 9, Don Harris shares how to start building a plan.
The primary factor for our district was to lead by example, and we implemented a district membership action plan. Well, just as important as a plan is to encourage your clubs and to get your members to fully engage. And you begin with the surveys, as David mentioned, club assemblies, have them look at their year-over-year results, helping them understand that attrition rates are real and how they must begin conversations about how clubs can be more intentional and implement better solutions for whether they need lead generation, onboarding of new members, or try to increase retention of their members. Providing our clubs with this tangible tool, this membership action plan template, was such a meaningful step to first help them get started to being intentional about their membership attraction, retention, and engagement.
Mary Ligon highlights why setting goals and making a plan matter in Tip 10.
You are 75% more likely to achieve goals if they are written down. Also, if they are challenging but achievable, that will lead to better performance 90% of the time. And then weekly progress reports increase your success rate by 40%. All of that adds up to, if you will write down your goals, make a plan, and give or have regular progress reports, you are 72% more likely to achieve those.
With so many great tips this year, 10 just wasn't enough. We've got a bonus tip for you. Does your club have FOMR? Eric Johnson's club has created that club experience.
FOMR, kind of a funny thing because, again, our meetings are so out there and crazy. People started missing the meetings and they would text me like, I missed Rotary. I missed it today. What happened in the meeting? What was so I was like, you got FOMR, don't you? It's like, you don't have fear of missing out. You have fear of missing Rotary.
So there you have it. Our top 10 tips plus one bonus tip from the Membership Action Plan on how to grow membership in your Rotary Club. Want to learn more? Go to rizones33-34.org/membership-action-plan to watch the past webinars in full, download how-tos, and get more easy to implement ideas.